everybody, welcome to Bish's RV. My name's Josh, and this is our Coldwater, Michigan RV Superstore. Although we have these parked at most of our stores, this is the new 210 J-Flight, previously basically known as the 212. This is the newer, lighter, less expensive version of that camper. Now, it is slightly different in a couple little areas, but I think as we go through this video, what you're going to see is everything that really matters is still here. Like, we've still got that 2+ 3 year warranty. We've still got the plywood construction that you expect out of Jayco's. They still have a good sized power awning on this. A lot of RV brands, when they start making something a little more budget friendly, you start getting these like ridiculous 8-10 foot awnings, like they shouldn't have even bothered putting the money into it. You still have that walk-on roof. They do go to a telescopic ladder mount on this one, so it is something where you may need to pick up your own ladder if that's something you're interested in doing, but some people prefer a removable ladder versus a fixed one. You've got the double propane tanks up front with the auto changeover regulator and the power tongue jack to kind of do the heavy lifting for you so you don't have to get tennis elbow hooking up your hitch, if you do it properly anyway. What's cool about this one, it is simple, easy, no slides, and it's shockingly light for its size. The maximum GVW of this, with fully loaded cargo and everything, tops out at 5,500 pounds. That is crazy light for something this size, and it opens it up to the to lighter duty tow vehicles that normally wouldn't be able to handle something like this. Not everybody has a Bigfoot Gravedigger monster truck, you know, so sometimes it's kind of nice to have that opportunity. But what's also cool about it, it gives us both a sofa and a dinette and some great window coverage in the back. It's also a little bit taller, which is nice in the shower, and has a bunch of other fun little features like a factory standard solar package now, which is chef's kiss. It's not perfect though. We're going to touch on the good and the bad. If you appreciate that approach, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Let's get going. So they've had this model around a long time, and different manufacturers have different versions of it. Like, some brands go about it like Jayco did here, with a separate sofa and dinette, and some manufacturers go about it like the way kind of like Cherokee does it, with just a giant rear mega U-dinette. Couple little things that I think are really important to point out though. This does still have central air, as you saw, and it's a 6'9" ceiling, along with the new kind of standardized single decor, which just kind of tends to read a little bit lighter and brighter, but without quite so many changes in the wood tones as you go through. And it doesn't have what looks kind of be like a dirty distress accent on the woodwork anymore. I think that this is one of the bigger looking and feeling versions of this floor plan that you're going to find out there. Inclusion of the dedicated sofa and the dinette allows for some interesting things. The corner entertainment center up here, it's kind of a classic entertainment center, but if you notice, they did put the TV prep on the rear wall, the like if you want to mount a bracket or something up there. And if you sit over here at the sofa, yeah, the TV's up a little high if you choose to put one in. But if you put like a pivoting swing arm and one that has a mount that can articulate downwards, you would kind of be facing toward that thing. But that's kind of the thing with this floor plan. I don't know that it's necessarily made with the idea of like sitting sitting inside watching TV all day. I don't know why "in time" came out of my mouth. That wasn't even... you know what? Frankly, I don't know why most things come out of my mouth, but hey, regardless. Now, they don't offer any sort of seating swaptions in this one, and I've always been kind of curious, like when you're over here at the sofa facing toward the door side of the RV, it's cool that it's very social, because this is a camper, not a fancy glamper, you know what I mean? But I really kind of thought about it, and I was like, what if this had, I don't know, some kind of, desk arrangement or like bar overlooking that campsite window area? Personally, I think that would be very cool, but that's, just me. Now, what is kind of nice is they have still maintained HDMI wiring for their entertainment unit up there, which a lot of brands, when you start getting into a budget class like this, they'll just put a piece of coax on the wall and be like, figure it out, dude, I don't know if they use those exact phrases, but it's kind of what it feels like. And you may have noticed how there's what I'm going to call the simulated cinema seat, that little fold-down cup holder armrest, so you can get a little bit more population control separation or a little more cuddle compliance, whatever sort of works for you. And you may have noticed they're actually really good about household outlets through this camper. Like there's one right over there. There's also a set down here under the dinette, in addition to some around the kitchen, which are a little harder for me to get on camera. But one of the things that I want to showcase for you here is that if you need it, this, it's a couple's camper, but it can fold down to have some decent guest capacity. One of the other things here, we're going to dive open all the storage, starting with the stuff over the sofa. There is not storage under the sofa. So that's the reason, like, you really can't remove the sofa. Like, you can't replace it with, like, a theater seat or something like that because you have stuff under it, as you could kind of tell from that footage. But the dinette is hollow. Basically, there is no storage, or it's pure storage. There's nothing blocking you from doing anything there. So if you're handy crafty, feel like doing some DIY stuff, theoretically you could pull the dinette out and do something else with it. I'd be kind of curious to know, what would you do? I don't know. Anyway, over here, they have standardized a 12-volt DC compressor fridge, but they've also standardized for the 24 season a 200-watt solar package with 30-amp controller. So if you did want to expand on that a little bit, you'd be able to. Your converter for your electrical system, basically your fuse box, if you're not familiar with that, if you're brand new at this, that's down there on the bottom left. That's a heat vent to its right. And this is carpetless. This is ventless. It is easy cleaning, although right as I say that, the carpet square that I use to clean my feet when I walk in the camper does kind of come into view. This is one of the only areas where you're going to see like a changeover from the woodwork. Basically what they're doing is your dinette and your entertainment are that kind of, I don't know, the extra medium brown. It's not light brown, it's not dark, it's extra medium. And I am kind of curious. What do you think about this trend of no glass top on the stove? I've actually heard some people not liking the glass top, so I'm wondering if that's maybe not a good thing, but it does mean that this RV really painfully lacks in countertop prep space. That's one of those things you're really going to want to consider. Maybe you bring yourself a portable picnic table because this RV has a nice large front pass-through compartment that would allow for that. Maybe you do a lot of that outdoors, but it really does lack counter space. It also, in the SLX series, does not include anything like sink covers. You're going to want to plan accordingly. This is a very good floor plan if you are kind of claustrophobic. You don't like feeling boxed in your bed space. However, despite being a little bit extra tall, that is a Bed Goblin Union short queen bed. If you're not familiar with the Bed Goblin Union, those are the little guys with razor sharp teeth that live under your bed, and if your toes stick out, not covered by a sheet, they're going to shear them off with those razor teeth. Unless you're sleeping. Somehow you get a pass when you're sleeping. I guess they don't like easy prey. I'm not sure. That, by the way, is your charge controller up there. Giving you an idea of, what kind of juice you got coming in on your batteries and all that sort of thing. And looking at the bedroom storage here, the left side's a hanging closet. The right side is actually a dresser space. And it is also kind of cool, I think, that you do still have that easy lift bed storage. Most brands, when you get into anything budget sensitive, you start losing things like struts under the bed. And frankly, I've seen plenty of far more expensive laminated trailers and even a couple fifth wheels, which is kind of baffling. They have no sort of easy lift station going on there. One of the other things that I think is cool about this one, it doesn't really look it from the outside, but it actually has some really good, not just campsite coverage, but just good window coverage all over the place, which I think is awful nice over here. Now, when you have these no slides with a hallway bathroom, one of the cool things about it is that it creates privacy and separation. One of the downsides, though, is, man, it is tight around the elbows. If you are a person of a fuller stature, we'll say, you're going to have a little bit of a hard time in there. And this bathroom does lack for linen storage. However, keep in mind, with this being a stick-built camper, you've got wall studs roughly every 16 inches on center here. So if you wanted to add a small cabinet where you roll towels up like burrito military style, that is something you can do. Now, the full J Flights did the thing that I was begging them to do last year. They went to a full mirror. The SLX series that we're looking at here, it is, however, they went to a full medicine cabinet. The SLX series that we're looking at is just a mirror. Let me clarify that because I just screwed everything up again. A full J Flight added a medicine cabinet to their mirror. The SLX that we're looking at has not. They have maintained the taller ceiling, and they have maintained that awesome big skylight right there. So you have some excellent, excellent headroom in this. And with no slides, you're always ready to go. It's always in road mode. It's always in camp mode. You can easily do some stealth mode overnight, parking lot, Walmart, camping, Cracker Barrel, whatever the case. It's just kind of a simple thing that way. You know, you can stop, you can get to the bed, you can get to your dining, you can use the dining. A lot of RVs with slides, the dining is in the slide and you're maybe not supposed to sit in it going down the road. You don't got to worry about that here. And whether you're going down the road or not, your bathroom's right across from the door, so you're not tracking dirt through your RV. It's carpetless and it's easy to clean, but anything that keeps more dirt out of it, I'm happy with. And another of the things that I think makes this an attractive option for a lot of people is the more manageable size and weight of this RV. It's not super duper big. It's not super duper heavy. Again, with a fully max loaded weight of 5,500 pounds, like full cargo, full everything, that is pretty awesome. Now, when you start getting in that weight range, I think a lot of people start asking, what about like my Ford Ranger? I got a tow package Ford Ranger. Can it carry this RV? And while the math kind of adds up, like that pairing, it just doesn't like feel right to me. And I say that just because of the total size of the RV, the width, the height, the everything, it just feels big behind a mid-size pickup. And I know that mathematically it can do it, and maybe if you're just going back and forth across town through like Flatland, Michiana, where I live, maybe it's not a big deal, but I certainly wouldn't do it cross country. I wouldn't take it through elevation or wind zones. You're gonna be white knuckle freaking out the whole time, is I think the best way that I can possibly say it. You saw how they still maintain that big full pass-through compartment and the tinted windows, and over here we have a black flush and an outside utility shower. It also has a single stinky slinky hookup station right there. It's got one single sewer outlet. Tankless on-demand water heater on these as well. So if you do feel like taking a couple back-to-back showers, or I don't know, maybe you got like a grandkid for the weekend and they've been out in the muck in the lake and you got to hose them down, you got a nice little spot to do that. Prepped and ready for a telescopic removable ladder on the back, and that's one of the differences from this SLX model to a full flight. A full flight will have a ladder on it, kind of like that Winnebago over there on the right-hand side in the background, but these are all prepped and ready. They're no longer doing J Smart Lighting across the entire lineup by default. They're kind of saving that for some of their more kind of premier level things, but it does still have the reverse elements in the taillight. That's a very inexpensive thing for manufacturers to add, and I like the J Smart lighting system, but it's gone, so I'll take anything I can get, really. The windows, I think I mentioned, are tinted, which when you get in this budget class, a lot of manufacturers will leave that out. It helps keep the heat down in the RV, it gives you privacy, and frankly, it helps keep things like your furniture and your flooring from fading over long-term exterior sun exposure stored outside. And you see that we are outfitted here with a propane cooker hooker, which is one of the nice things on this one. But I like to be fair. I like to tell you the good with the bad. Like, it's cool that it does still have a stovetop heat exhaust vent hood, but this SLX series does not have an enclosed belly. They do not have, obviously as a result, belly heating, you know. There are, these are also import tires versus the Goodyears that Jayco normally rides on. I'm not going to conveniently forget to mention that fact just because it isn't positive. And I hope you appreciate the clarity and transparency and candor and, I don't know, all those synonym words. I want some synonym rolls. So thanks again for tuning in. I'd be kind of curious to know, what do you think about the updates? And I always love to ask people, like, what's something you really like about this? And what is, like, one thing? If you could wave a wand and change one thing on this RV, what would it be? And in the meantime, I'll, of course, leave you some links in the video description to check for pricing and availability. And when you're ready, we're ready. We don't do hidden dealer fees. We just do everything else for you, including winterize your RV every year at no cost, which is kind of cool. So when you, I already said that, when you're ready. I should pay attention. It's early. I need to go get caffeinated. I'm going to go do that right now. So, take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone. It's caffeine time. Oh, sure. Now the sun comes out.
Where were you 10 minutes ago when I needed you?